I hate Moneypenny shooting Bond. I get that for the story to happen, she needs to miss and hit Bond, but why does she only fire one time? She should have unloaded her f***ing clip. And why didn't Bond say anything about it? Because we know he has comms.
That is a question. Like, is M talking directly to Moneypenny, or are they
He's
all in the
talking to both of them.
Not...
So why isn't he like, don't shoot, I got this?
Take the bloody shot.
Take the bloody shot.
I made a judgment call.
You should have trusted me to finish the job.
Later, he's got something to say, but in the moment, he's just like, it's not like if he had this, if he was being choked, then he can't say anything.
That's what Craig Bond would do too. Is like, I got this.
Yeah, like shut the f up, I got this. Like, don't shoot. Like I'm trust me, I got this. But instead, and that's the thing. It's like like I said, I get for the story that she had to shoot him. But it's like, and you can argue that she shot the one bullet and then she was so like, oh my God, what have I done, that she didn't keep shooting. But we all know that take the bloody shot means Bond is expendable. The list matters more. Unload your f***ing clip. Like, just kill Patrice. No matter what happens, kill Patrice. But she shoots
just take
one time and she hits Bond and then she stops. Like, she gives up. And I'm just like, if you want me to like Moneypenny, right off the bat, I'm just like, you suck. Like,
just
you
have her unload
suck.
the clip.
You unbelievably suck, and we'll get back to that, like how much she sucks. But
I'm all right with it.
Would that not be more of a reason why she's supposed to be in the office anyway?
Yeah,
that's how she learns to not be on the field.
It is.
I don't know. Sometimes you'll say something about a movie, and then I'm like, yeah, that's the point. And like, you're like, no, this sucks because of this. I'm like, I think that's the point, is that she wasn't ready for out in the field, and that's why they set her character up.
McCurdy,
to be
there's a
the
part
secretary.
2 to this. I hate his scene with Moneypenny after they show up back in the new digs.
I'm assisting Gareth Mallory in the transition, and then I'll be back in the field.
That's what you want?
Yes, of course.
The real Bond would have told her to move back home and get knocked up. You're fucking useless at your job. You fucking shot me. If it was Saunders, he would have strangled him. The actual James Bond character would be like, you are useless.
In your defense, a moving target is much harder to hit.
Then you better keep moving.
Bitch, we're all here because of your up.
Bitch.
You're never going back into the field. Everybody's in the new digs. We're in this new MI6 because of you. And Bond's just like, whatever. Like, he's cracking jokes and shit. Everybody should
flirting.
be fucking pissed off at Eve Moneypenny. She should have been fired on the fucking spot. She is the most incompetent person. It's such a poor setup for Moneypenny. Like, on the one hand, it's cute that she ends up taking a desk job, but they shouldn't even give her a desk job. Not only did she shoot 007, but she's the reason why the fucking knock list got out into the public. She shouldn't just be put in prison. She should be publicly executed. It's all her fault. And yet Bond's like, moving target's hard to hit or whatever.
I feel like that's silly, because I feel like you're giving blame to a character that it's Patrice's fault that the knock list got taken in the first place, right? It's not
There
Eve's
should have
fault.
been an investigation that showed that Eve Moneypenny completely f***ed up her job and shouldn't be allowed back in any capacity.
Yeah, but she shot Bond and she did what she was asked of. So I
she
question your, like,
keep pulling that trigger, babe.
That's so
keep
dumb.
pulling the trigger.
It's a nitpick.
She fired
It's such a
one
nitpick.
shot. Her orders were take the bloody shot. She hit Bond and she immediately froze. That's not a minor thing. It's a very important element of combat, not to let your emotions get the better of you. And she failed. And to be clear, my problem isn't that she failed. That's great drama. But my problem is that we never saw any personal fallout from her failure, thereby robbing this new Moneypenny of a really compelling redemption arc. Instead, the writers give her what's called a pussy pass. Because she's a hot chick, apparently she's not held to the same standards as everybody else.
And then I'll be back in the field.
That's what you want?
Yes, of course.
Even Bond had to explain himself for not shooting the sniper in the living daylights.
You jeopardize the entire mission to avoid shooting a beautiful girl.
Not exactly, sir.
And this is exactly what I mean. She completely f***s up and nobody asks any questions? Nobody seems to hold her accountable, Bond included, even though she's responsible for shooting him off a train into a neck-breaking swan dive, thrown off a waterfall to drown in a dark abyss, and swallowed up by a giant sinkhole. But instead, apparently a simple apology is sufficient.
I'm the one who should say sorry.
Instead of a really dramatic scene where she's grilled about what happened and how she f***ed up and will be riding a desk for the foreseeable future, apparently nobody cares. She should have been completely disgraced so that later she could come back and redeem herself. Nobody cares that everything that came after that failed mission is ultimately her fault. Whose fault is it that MI6 got blowed up and everybody had to move underground? Whose fault is it?
It's Silva's fault.
It's Silva's actions, but who could
but
have
that's his
prevented
fault.
that? But who could have prevented that?
And they tried to prevent it, which also leads back into the themes of why that movie's part of it.
The bad guy doing bad things doesn't matter. It's the good guys fucking up their police action that matters. Remember, that's the whole point of the movie, that M fumbled this entire operation so bad that an oversight committee moves to put her out to pasture.
Are we to call this civilian oversight?
No, we're to call this retirement planning.
There will always be bad guys out there doing bad guy stuff. That's a given. When good guys fail to do their job, that's when they end up in court.
The Prime Minister continues to express public support for MI6, while the opposition has taken the position
we're a bunch of antiquated bloody idiots fighting a war we don't understand and can't possibly win.
And Moneypenny performed so poorly that she should have never been invited back in any capacity.
Yeah,
Desk job or otherwise.
I don't agree.
That's not a nitpick.
I don't agree with that, Paul.
We're all here. We're all here because you f***ed up.
M should never have put her in the field.
Which is true, but then even after
it's
she
M's
did
fault.
put her in the field, she didn't perform whatsoever. Like, she should never be brought back in any way.
Yeah,
M's
I don't.
fault.
I don't agree with that. I just simply, plainly, I don't agree.
Based on her performance, you would be okay with her coming back and being like, yeah, I shot Bond.
Right,
and then
but that's not the
f***ed up.
same as being. But that's not being the same as a field agent, though. And we're talking about two different things. You're talking about doing desk work versus being out in the field and shooting people. Like, those are two different jobs.
But she's having a whole.
But those are two different
she's
jobs.
having a whole dialogue scene with Bond where she's like, yeah, I'm thinking about going back into the field. She should be barred from the field. Full stop. Forever. Like, you're done. But she's like, no, I might go back. The real Bond, the actual Ian Fleming James Bond would be like, you are fucking useless. You fucking shot me. Don't talk to me. Get the fuck out of my face. But instead, he has this whole scene where he's like flirting with her. And it's ridiculous.
Nah, I'm fine with it.
Again, I don't blame her because, again, like, it's a dire situation. You know, it could have ggone either way, and that's why she was like, "Yeah, I don't know what."
Those dire situations are what test people, and she failed the test with flying colors. She failed with flying colors.
I think you're harping on I still think you're harping on a point that's like you're like, well, she didn't do this thing, and I'm like, I don't think
I think I'm
that.
justified in harping because guess what happened? A bunch of embedded agents got executed, and MI6 blows up, and they all have to move underground, and yet everybody's okay with Moneypenny still being there. It's ridiculous. People should be putting whoopee cushions under her chair and spitting in her lunch. She should never have shown her face around ever again, let alone having a scene where she's flirting with Bond.
I don't think MI6 agents are very disposable. I don't think you just get rid of them.
She wasn't a double O either.
Nans, what about a guy named Silva who was the best double O that M ever had, and yet she sold him out because he started to fuck up?